Meet Chloe and Aspen. Do you know what they both have in common besides the fact that they are dogs? Both of them are rescues. According to the ASPCA, approximately 3.9 million dogs enter the shelter every year. Of those, 1.2 million dogs are euthanized, 1.4 million are adopted, and 542,000 of them are returned to their owners. You can be just as happy with a dog from the shelter over buying one from a breeder or a pet store. Dog adoptions can lead to an increase in the number of adoptions from a shelter. It's actually cheaper from a breeder or a pet store and can help put an end to puppy mills. So many end up abandoned on the streets, and most of them end up finding their way to the shelters. At the Caddo Parish Animal Control in Shreveport, Louisiana, from January 2014 to July 2014, there were 2,976 dogs that entered that shelter. Of those, 385 dogs were adopted, 57 were sent to a rescue, 315 were claimed by their owners, and 2,125 were euthanized. In October 2014, just a month ago, there were 424 dogs that entered the shelter. 69 were adopted, 17 were sent to a rescue, 41 were claimed, and 295 were euthanized. More dogs were euthanized over being adopted, claimed, or rescued combined. Dogs should be given a chance to find a loving home with a wonderful family over being euthanized because the shelter is full or because they weren't adopted in the allotted time frame. If more people adopted from the shelters, of course the number of adoptions would increase, but also the number of dogs that get euthanized would decrease. Not only from adopting from a shelter would decrease the euthanasia rate, it's also cheaper. According to Cost Helper, buying a pet from a breeder costs anywhere from $300 to $5,000. That includes dogs without any paperwork all the way to the top show dogs with full registration. Cost Helper also says that getting a dog from a shelter costs anywhere from $70 to $300. At the Caddo Parish Animal Control, it only costs $50 to adopt a dog. And these dogs also get vaccinated and dewormed on site. And if a dog is not spayed or neutered, you get a $50 voucher to make sure the procedure gets done. Here in Shreveport, we have Robinson Rescue. Now, Robinson Rescue is a rescue that specializes in spaying and neutering for cheap. It costs $58 to spay and $68 to neuter. Now, if a dog weighs more than 60 pounds, it costs an additional $30. And if you don't have any proof of rabies vaccinations, it costs an additional $10 for the dog to get the shot. Now, with the voucher, you're looking at $8 to $58 for a dog from the shelter. That's a lot cheaper than what you would buy from a breeder. Of course, this does not include vet visits, but $8 to $58 for a dog that's including vaccinations, deworming, and fixed over a dog who's not fixed and unsure if it's vaccinated or dewormed, depending on the breeder or the pet store, that costs $300 to $5,000. That's a significant difference. But if you choose not to adopt and instead buy from a breeder or a pet store, how do you know these dogs don't come from the puppy mill? According to the ASPCA, a puppy mill is a large-scale commercial dog breeding operation that places profit over the well-being of its dogs, who are often neglected, and acts without regard to the responsible breeding practices. In other words, they care more for the money than they care for the dog. According to RACON, puppy mill operators keep their dogs in cages for up to 24 hours a day and breed them continuously. The cages are often having wire floors, and the dogs get very little vet care and no socialization. This picture actually shows what a puppy mill looks like. You can see wire cages, nobody there to take care of them, in a very filthy environment. Dogs who are in this type of environment are susceptible to many illnesses, including the parvovirus. Now, the parvovirus is a highly contagious virus that attacks puppies, and what it does, it attacks the white blood cells in the intestinal tract in these puppies. The symptoms include severe dehydration, loss of appetite, vomiting, and severe bloody diarrhea. I actually had a puppy who suffered parvo, and I will just say it was one of the most painful experiences I've ever had to witness. My vet, Dr. Ritter, has a 70% success rate in saving dogs with parvo, but it comes with a hefty cost. It would have cost me $500 per day to only attempt to save the puppy. In the end, I couldn't afford it, so I had to put him down. I only had that puppy for a day and a half. The parvovirus can be in a dog, and the dog won't show any symptoms. Once those symptoms hit, it hits rapidly. And also, the parvovirus can live on inanimate objects for months. So if a puppy is in one of these cages at the puppy mill, and they have the parvovirus, not only could they spread it to any of the other dogs, but once that puppy is removed from the cage, any other dog that enters that cage is susceptible to getting parvovirus itself. Now, would you really want to support a facility that does not care for or spend time with or give vet care to a puppy? Adoption is not only beneficial for you, it is also for the dog in helping finding a loving home that it deserves. Yes, you can save money on adoption, but you can also make sure that none end up on the streets, none get euthanized, and hopefully put an end to puppy mills like this. You know, Chloe and Aspen might be rescued, but in truth, they rescued me. Thank you.